Sailors who've served on border protection operations off Australia's northern coast have spoken out about the mental and physical toll of intercepting asylum seeker vessels. Several former and current Navy personnel have subsequently developed post-traumatic stress disorder, and they've told the ABC they feel the Defence Force has abandoned them. They've also opened up about the political pressure applied to the crews of Navy ships on border patrol. And a warning, this report from Dan Oakes contains some confronting images.
For former Navy officer Troy Norris, the harrowing memories of his time at sea will never leave him.
Just the sight of recovering children, you know. I've got 4 kids myself, and you know, I couldn't imagine ever losing any one of my children.
For 13 years, Norris served at the front line of Australia's border protection operations, intercepting illegal fishing and asylum seeker boats. He saved lives on some days, but retrieved bodies on others.
Sometimes you'd go to pull these people in the boat, and all you'd end up with is a handful of flesh. After seeing stuff like that, it's pretty hard to forget.
Other former border protection sailors also remain traumatised.
I always try to say things like, you know, well, these people chose to be there. You know, they paid their money, they got on the boat, and what happened to them happened. However, the children is something I could never sort of morally file away.
The only way I could justify what we were doing is I wasn't, you know, I was just saving lives out there, you know. We're stopping people from drowning. It's the only way I could actually justify what we were doing.
During the Rudd and Gillard governments, the number of asylum seekers trying to reach Australia rose dramatically. In 2007, there were 148. 5 years later, the figure was 17,000, placing Navy operations under enormous stress. Serving officers have told the ABC border protection crews were pressured indirectly from Canberra not to intercept boats, sometimes with catastrophic consequences.
Our vessel was delayed 15 hours for a boarding on one occasion, and we got reports in from surveillance aircraft that that vessel had sunk 13 hours ago, and all we found was probably a line about 70 miles long of bodies.
Many of the sailors involved with border protection operations now suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder.
It's a failure of command. It's a failure of the senior officers who have failed to understand the full scope of these operations and look after their people accordingly.
Greg was medically discharged by the Navy after attempting suicide. Troy Norris came close.
Defence-wide, they love you when you're working. As soon as you're broken, you're just a number and a liability, and they can't wait to get you out.
And only now that this long-serving sailor is out can he begin to piece his life back together. Dan Oakes, ABC News.
And you can see more on that story straight after the news on 7:30.